This is being young. The days of endless summers.
Vulnerability's hard.
We had a permit. We had a plan. We went.
I think that about sums it up.
Core experiences that I know fundamentally shifted who I am as a person.
And I was like, are you okay?
I wasn't.
In hindsight, I would do things completely differently.
Is it Yither?
Is it Yonder? Welcome to Yither and Yonder. So last time on Yither and Yonder...
We can do this. And then asked, do we want to do this? And in her most hesitant voice, she said, yes. You know, the kind where it goes up, the uncertain, almost question response. Then we went.
I regret...
She regrets meeting me.
Everything about everything, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die.
I'm alive.
Thinking like, okay, we're gonna make it up after we both just had panic attacks is not how the body works.
It was fucking scary.
I remember being severely offended that no one told me about the stairs.
That could have also been when we got Giardia. And that's when it clicked in my brain. Em is not here. It was only day 2. Day 3 starts in my notes. I've never felt more inadequate, unprepared, or defeated than today.
I'm going to read you my first 2 sentences. First sentence, 2 words. Today sucked. Second sentence, my first sentence is an understatement.
My second sentence is my body literally gave out on me.
Aww.
We intended to get to Cathedral Lakes, but settled for Sunrise Camp, about 4.5 miles short of our goal. It was exhausting and emotionally draining. I cried about 6 times today, thinking about home. I was completely empty of all that was left in me. My feet were aching, my knees wanted to buckle, my shoulders and my neck were pulsing. My legs were tight and tired, but we made it over the pass to altitude. We climbed 3,600 feet today. The map says 8.9 miles, but my Fitbit says 14.5.
Damn.
We hiked for about 10.5 hours straight and took very minimal breaks. The sun was hot. The smoke from the fire was thick. It was literally the worst experience. I cannot think of a time where I felt worse. I saw beautiful mountains and eventually a meadow, but it didn't help to ease the pain and frustration. I'm hoping tomorrow will be easier. It should be a much smaller climb to Cathedral Lakes than to Tuolumne Meadows. I don't know if we'll make it to Donahue, but I'm sure we'll try.
Indeed. So it's very similar over here too, right? It took everything in me not to quit, and I thought about quitting so much today every time it got tough. Generally, all I wanted to do was go see Shane, talk to him, and this will be night 2. That hasn't happened. And to just go be home with him and the girls and the dogs and even the cat. But I pushed on, and of course it didn't help that, it was hot and the bugs. I did do some complaining, and I'm not super proud of that, but I do think maybe it helped me get through it. In the morning, we made good time. We slowed, though, as the elevation went up. I figured something out today. The more I sit or lean or take my pack off, the more time I spend in a rest stop. So maybe I should just not take my pack off. We didn't make it to Cathedral Lakes. We stopped at the High Sierra camp, and we are both just done. And my body felt like it was screaming at me every step to stop. I feel so defeated today, and I just feel like shit. Shit that I can't make miles, and shit that I feel like I'm slowing Nikki down. I feel like my tendency for jumping in the deep end has finally caught up with me. I feel out of my depth, and tomorrow might not be better, but it has to be better. And so I will make it better.
My heart is heavy today with all the things I had to give up to be here. Knowing that I'm feeling like death makes that harder. Today was the most emotional day yet. My inability to physically channel my emotions into progress was frustrating. I told myself many things today. Introduce Go Legs Go, a la my grandma. It's a thing that she's always kind of said. She's had some back issues and surgeries, and her legs weren't always responding when she wanted them to. And turns out she needed a hip replacement really bad, which helped a lot. But for years, she would stand up and say, "Go, legs, go." And so it ended up being kind of a mantra for the both of us. Every time we wanted to stay on our lazy log, we'd be like, "All right, go, legs, go." Tomorrow is day 4, and I truly hope it is better. We quoted each other. We need a good day. We need to feel strong. We need to feel capable. We are demoralized and defeated, and we're exhausted and frustrated with our bodies and ourselves. I just need a little win. Because that was the day that we had to hike back up all the switchbacks that we had gone up and down the day before into a massive burn scar.
Yes.
That was filled with smoke from the new fire.
Yeah.
It was dusty, like almost like silty sand. So as you walked in it, it just kicked up into your face.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was hot. There was no shade anywhere because it was a burn scar. That is the day we met Keith, the yo-yoer. So he was passing us starting from Happy Isles.
Yes.
Up to do Whitney, and rather than coming down Whitney, he was going to come back from Whitney back to Happy Isles and get his car. And he was going to do his yo-yo in like 28 days or something. We were shooting for like 24, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it in 28." And we were like, "Okay,
Go, Keith.
and he was very supportive and very fun. And we were like, "Well, you know what, Keith? Hope we see you again." And he was like, "Yeah. What's your timeline? Yeah, so maybe I'll see you like on your day 13. And we were like, "Okay." And then I think we both promptly forgot about it.
We did.
We remembered Keith, but we forgot about seeing him again.
Yep.
And yeah, I think day 3, we were so confident that if we just worked harder, that we would just get back on track.
But isn't that such the academic mindset we were coming in with, though? Of like,
I think that's just the human mindset of if you grind harder, you get more.
yeah. I mean, yes, but I think it was very much exacerbated by like how like the environment we were coming out of at that point.
I think we also had yet to accept that we were now like 60 pounds heavier in our bodies, that we were in an environment that wasn't the most fit for the kind of hiking we were used to doing.
Yes.
And we were, I mean, truly, we were dehydrated and not eating enough too.
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of it. So our bodies were like, "Okay, you're making me hike 14 and a half miles for 10 and a half hours with almost no water," because we were so exhausted. We were drinking water, but I'm sure it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And, you know, we later know that we had giardia
Yeah.
that I assume we got at that high camp. It's the only time that we ever like bathed in anything that could allow it to like get in our eyes or our mouth.
That's true. So Nikki and I both ended up with giardia. And we have 2 suspects for how we got giardia. The first is that before we left Little Yosemite Valley, Paul volunteered to get water for us. And, you know, pumping water in the morning or filtering water in the morning is a big deal. It takes a while.
Well, my filter was fucked, so we had to use your pump.
Yes. And it was a good pump. It was solid.
It was.
But it took a while.
It did.
Yes. And so, you know, here was this experienced backpacker that was volunteering to do that for us and whatnot. And we later found out that he didn't pump or filter the water. He just filled it up from...
Well, I think we both forgot about the part where he said that he loved to drink the water and breathe in the air, and that the water had everything you needed, which we realized after he had filled our water probably meant he wasn't filtering it.
Yes. Yeah. And then, you know, putting our sweat rags in the water, and then like, you know, just it could have gotten into our eyes.
For all I know,
mouths.
I put water in my mouth that day and was like squishing it around and spitting it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I grew up going to these places all the time and like filling my water bottle off of snow runoff and doing that. But I didn't have giardia until after this trip. And for those who are familiar with giardia, neither of us had diarrhea.
No.
So we did not know we had Giardia. We did not have the typically Giardia hits you and it dehydrates you. You have diarrhea, you have gastrointestinal cramps, and it's a game over typically.
Mm-hmm.
And we did not have any of those symptoms, but we had extreme fatigue in the long run, which maybe that should be a post-show nugget. Giardia.
Yes.
How we realized that we even had it afterwards. It was not a typical presenting case of Giardia, so we didn't know we had it. We had no indication that we had any parasites of any sort while on the trail.
No.
But we likely got it then.
And then we met a bunch of people that day too. Like, I have notes about meeting someone named Lori from Ladies of the JMT, Victoria with the teal pack, Lena from Hawaii, who's an Idaho native that wanted to do this trail 10 years ago, and she's really excited. Most of these people we never saw again.
Yeah, we didn't really see what I would consider like our little squad of people that we kept like leapfrogging with until the middle. Also, from day 3 to 4, we needed to go from Sunrise Camp to Cathedral Lakes to catch up to where we had intended on starting on day 4. And day 4 was supposed to be Cathedral Lakes over Donahue Pass.
Yeah.
And we were so excited to go past Cathedral Lakes and hit the Tuolumne Meadows permitting station because 1, there was a real bathroom with a flush toilet and a sink. And 2, probably more so, we desperately wanted to see if Dan the man was there.
Yes.
So we could tell him that we were still going. Because in our minds, we had to make him proud.
Indeed. I have a post-bedtime observation.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
Yes.
We should publish this.
What?
The whole thing.
This?
Yes. With little like graphics, post-bedtime observation.
Should type it up because of my handwriting. I was so uncomfortable today. All I wanted to do was surround myself with things that made me comfortable. Shane, family, dogs, Cupcake. Cupcake the cat.
The cat.
It's really hard to do something out of the comfort zone without being able to talk to the person that you feel encourages you most. And for me, that's Shane. And I think for Nikki, that's Chase. Nikki and I both miss Paul and Carol and their joy and their encouragement. I don't think we talked about that. I think I just like threw that down on paper.
No, we did. We talked about, I remember talking to you about the first night that we weren't in the little Yosemite camp and we were setting up camp. We were like, Paul and Carol aren't here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was getting dark.
Yeah.
It was weird. We like rolled up. It was weird. They had like little cement pads for tents and stuff. Do you remember that?
I do.
And they had like 1 or 2 long drops out there. Like I think it was supposed to be like an old horse camp that you could backpack in. And I remember both of us being like, this is fucking weird, but okay. And then I remember us getting in the tent and being like, Paul and Carol weren't here. Because I think we had dinner with them every night up to then.
I think we had too. Yeah. And then my other point was like, while on the main path to Half Dome, all the chipper people with day packs smelled good and that irked me. Now I miss that constant encouragement and validation of the people that were cheering us on, even if they smelled good. Now the encouragement and validation has to be internal. And as the day proved, I'm not very good at that.
That shit's hard.
Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of just want to go back to me 9 years ago and just kind of give her a hug and be like, you need to be a better cheerleader for yourself.
I mean, is that not true of every next iteration? You want to go back to the previous one and be like, girl, I got you.
Yeah.
I wish that I got out of my head more in those first 3 days because I think not having Chase, not having my dog, not having what felt like home, because home is fucking weird for me. It always has been. Lisa Gilman's class, I remember she asked everyone to go around the room and say, where is home?
Yeah.
That was her question. And I said, I know you want me to tell you where I grew up, but where I grew up is not where I feel at home. And she was like, okay, that is where I felt at home. We were approaching the part of those mountains that feels the most like home to me. Couldn't.
Yeah.
Because my dog was the only reason I could do anything, like, as an adult, because she was home. And not having her, the only time other than that I had ever done anything completely by myself. I had done a couple of conferences where I had to like fly by myself and be by myself for like a weekend. But the only other time that I had ever done anything big and scary that was completely unfamiliar to me without her as a security blanket was driving myself from Oregon to Yosemite to go backpacking with 2 friends overnight, which was in preparation. And I was fucking terrified that entire time.
Yeah.
Because I had never driven 12 hours by myself. She was my co-pilot. The only reason I could move to Oregon and leave everyone I knew because I had my dog.
Yeah.
And I think what was hardest for me was I knew that Chase knew where I was.
Mm-hmm.
He knew where I was, what I was doing, why I was doing it, and it's whatever. And we had been long distance already for like 2017, 4 years at that point.
Yeah.
So like not seeing me for 2 weeks was a normal thing. 3 weeks was hard. But like not seeing me was a normal part. It was a normal cadence in our relationship. Not hearing from me and not being able to talk to him was incredibly hard. But my dog didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell her that I would be back. I had so much guilt. She was my soul dog, and I don't think I could have done most of the things I've done if she hadn't been there. If I'm going to carry a 70-pound packer, I may as well add her 8-pound body.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so hard for me every day thinking about the fact that I left her and she wouldn't understand why I was gone because I had never been gone that long before.
Yeah.
I think I was making myself feel more guilty and physically being exhausted, choosing waterproof boots, ankle-high waterproof boots, royally fucked my feet, and I had blisters, and
Audience, blisters were literally forming every step Nikki took. This will become relevant later.
Do we need an OnlyFans page just for my foot pics from this hike? I was running out of things to distract myself with.
Yeah.
And the best thing to distract myself with was my own guilt. It was like self-flagellation, right? I deserve this.
So like day 0, the foundation had already started shaking because we were both feeling like incompetent.
Yeah.
And then for different reasons, every day it's like somebody was kicking the leg out from one of the corners of the foundation for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was more internal than it was external.
Mm-hmm.
No one walked up to me and said, "You can't do this."
No. Literally no
one did
to
that.
either of us.
No, the dick bags we met along the trail came much later.
Yes.
But
you were having a better time.
we were like, "Fuck you." I wish, to your point, that I could go back and be like, "Girl, it's not that deep."
Mm-hmm.
My dog was mad at me when we got back. I missed her birthday. I'm not a person who throws a dog birthday party, but I did miss her birthday, and I saved a packet of peanut butter for her that I carried the entire fucking time.
You did.
And I got in the car, and I was so excited to see her, and she was like, "Mitch, please." And I was like, "Peanut butter?" And she was like, "Fine, but I'm still mad at you." And, and then she was over it, and it was fine. But to me, that was like the hardest thing to walk away from because she was the comfort. She was like, if there were a singular place to call home, it was wherever the hell I was with her.
Yeah.
And I think in Lisa Gilman's class, I said, like, there's a particular part of the Eastern Sierra that, like, every time we turn the corner and we see it for the first time, done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a weird combination of that being a place that was emotionally safer as a child. I was never physically
hurt as a child. Like, I want to make that clear. But the emotional safety of being someplace where my mother was carefree.
Yeah.
And I was not doing emotional caretaking.
Yeah, that's huge.
Was being on vacation there. And it also was a space, because I was not doing that I was simultaneously able to be a kid and grow into being an adult.
Yeah.
So if I had just like given myself this much space to think about what I could do instead of what I couldn't do, I probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I also, that Nikki thought she was able-bodied and neurotypical.
This Im thought she was able-bodied and neurotypical.
Right. And I think that's also something that takes a lot of time and energy to process and own. And like, I didn't know anything then, right? Like, I just thought I was like the slow fat kid that couldn't figure it out and had big feelings. So when I'm mad at my body for not being able to go, I don't know that my knees hurt because they're hyperextending.
Yeah.
Let alone being neurospicy. Like, that's a whole other... You took me out of every comfort that I had. You took me out of my rigid structure.
Yes.
That is my comfort.
Yes.
Because I have my things where they belong, and I know that I have them if I need them. Don't have any of that.
No.
I have my like routine out the fucking window. I have my support systems gone. Don't have them anymore, right? And I think a huge part of it too is at this point you and I were what, 2, maybe 3 years into a friendship? Really 2, because we knew each other, but we didn't spend time together until I was in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I felt pressure to not fuck this up for you. Right?
I felt pressure to not fuck this up for you. And I don't think we've gotten there yet, but there were several times where I was like, I think Nikki's like really mad at me.
I was never mad at you.
And like in hindsight, I know that, but like me back then,
right,
didn't know that.
Right.
You know?
And like I felt bad because I would like be so far ahead of you, and then I would stop and I'd be like, you're an asshole. Like, you keep ditching her. I was just like waiting, and I was like, God, if anything happens to her, you're the asshole that ditched your fucking friend and then she died. Like, this is your fault. I stressed about it. So like it got to a point where after Bear Ridge, which is coming up,
Yeah.
I was like, I have to watch her. I have to have seen her recently and wait, because I didn't want you to feel pressure either.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to feel the pressure of like, I finally caught up for my snack break, but Nikki's ready to go and I'm not. And then that bitch is going to run 3 miles up ahead of me again, and I might have to catch her. Like, I didn't want that to be what you were experiencing either. But I knew that both of us were doing better having our own space to sad girl. I didn't know you were sad girling at the time, but I knew for me, I was like, I'm having big feelings, and I don't want my big feelings to explode on her.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not M that's making me feel these big feelings. M is the only reason I'm not falling apart, because she is somebody that I know and trust and feel safe. But if I am just going to cry for the next 3 miles, I don't want her to be like, I have to make her better.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yes.
And that's likely my own fucking emotional caretaking as a child. You don't have to make someone better because they're crying, but I didn't want you to feel the pressure that I had always felt. Right. And so I felt like this pressure.
Right. And like me thinking that you're mad at me because I'm like not performing or whatever is absolutely my shit. Right. Like there's absolutely that is not grounded in reality.
No, I was not ever mad at you. I was worried about you.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
I mean, I was breaking down.
The only time I was like funny mad at you was the tarot cards. When you were like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, this is not grounded in like intuition. This is grounded in anxiety.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I was having a moment for sure.
We'll get there. Yeah. And it was definitely funny.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we had that moment
and that I wasn't wrong. But there was like, I was like, girl, I'm not sleeping in this tent on the side of this fucking cliff. Because, no.
But what if?
You were scarred. Fairly.
I'm really glad that I have this trail journal because it's such a time capsule of who I was. And I feel like sometimes when you're like doing really deep self work, it just can feel like you're going nowhere because it's so slow. But like going back into this place, I'm like, I can see how much growth there's been and like my own personal process and where I was and how I interact with people and the way that like I used to connect my emotionality to people and places and things and events. And I'm like, girl, I would kick that trail's booty. Now, I mean, not really. That trail's booty would probably kick me. But like, I would have such a different experience now because of where I am emotionally.
Right. Like, I would go back and hug younger Nikki and be like, you'll be fucking fine.
Yes.
It's gonna be fucking fine.
Yes.
And I think also the magnitude of the investment for what it meant for both of us to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the money.
No.
We barely had the time. We did our best with what we had.
Yeah.
And it was a massive undertaking to coordinate and execute this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we also felt the pressure of doing it, not just talking about it, but doing it. So we almost gave ourselves high stakes that then made not feeling like you're living up to it hit harder.
Yeah. Yes. And, you know, we kind of alluded to this in a previous episode, and I think this is a theme kind of worth revisiting as we get deeper into this story, which is you and I had never quit anything before.
No.
You and I had never not completed anything before. You and I had never not done anything to the level of exceeds expectation before. And to be on day not even 5, not even a quarter of the way into this hike, and not only is the foundation shaking, but someone is coming around the table and is kicking 1 leg out, 2 leg out, 3 leg out. We are not on the path to exceeds expectation, and that is like hitting at the core.
I'm not even at the like C's get degrees level here.
Right, but that is hitting at the core of of my identity.
Right.
9 years ago, and that is like big scary.
Right.
Big scary.
Yeah. Because we told people about this.
We did.
I had academic expectations for me to accomplish this. We had committed to doing this in a very committed way, right?
Yeah.
Like we committed ourselves to this accomplishment, period. And there was no halfway that was going to be tolerable.
Yes.
Because we said we were doing it.
Yes. And what would it say about us if we didn't?
But also, fuck trail bros.
Yes, but we were kind of in those early days maybe embodying or living into a little bit of trail bro culture.
100%. At that moment, it was what that culture was.
Yes.
It was the awakening of fuck that.
Yeah.
And to be clear, when I say trail bros, I mean any person, whatever your identity is, that chooses to police other people doing what they want in the outdoors.
Correct.
This does not include people who want to burn down forests. This does not include people who want to leave garbage and treat the woods in adverse ways. But if you want to roll up on someone and tell them they're doing that wrong, if you want to diminish car camping because backpacking is better, if you want to tell me I didn't through hike because I didn't walk every goddamn step of every part of the trail.
Yeah.
Whether there is a reroute because of a natural disaster, whether there is a safer route because somebody has an issue, like,
or a washout.
Oh, exactly. If there's something that is causing the trail to not be navigable, it's not your right to tell someone they didn't do something.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by trail bro. It doesn't mean only men. It doesn't mean only white people. It doesn't mean only able-bodied people, right? Anyone can be the asshole who decides to criticize somebody for trying to be a human outside.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about when we say trail bros. And it doesn't have to be while you're outside. The people who roll up on the internet to troll people and say, you'll never be able to do that. You can't accomplish that. That's the gear you're going to take. You think you're going to get that far?
You brought a Nalgene.
Yes, exactly. And
my water bottle weighs 3 ounces.
My trail shoes are duct tape wrapped around a piece of foam. Like,
You go, girl.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate your support in this retelling of our chaotic adventure. We love to hear from y'all, so reach out on social media at yitheryonderpod or send us an email at yitheryonderpod@gmail.com. Find us on your favorite listening platform, and please rate, review, and subscribe because it really does help. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources and helpful links. And if you'd like more content, subscribe on your favorite membership platform. Info's available on our website, yitheryonderpod.com. We've got weekly blogs from each of us, some planning resources from our trip, with tips on what we do differently, and some other fun bonus content. We truly appreciate you joining us on this great adventure. Until next time.